It's pretty well known that Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing were friends in real life, and starred in many of the same movies together. Polar Express is the first one they did after Cushing's wife unfortunately passed away. He almost turned down the role, but Lee convinced him to take the part. Apparently, Lee was such a good friend that he even slept in the same bed as Cushing so he wouldn't be alone during that hard time in his life. Now that's a friendship. This all takes place in 1906. Alexander Saxton is on an expedition and deep in a cave where he finds a frozen Yeti. Excited by his find, he packages it up and gets it ready to take it back home to study. While at the train station, a thief manages to break into the crate, not knowing what's inside, and is killed instantly. But by what? According to a monk named Pajardov, it was the work of Satan himself.
Work of the devil.
He even demonstrates this by showing you can't draw a cross on the crate carrying the creature. But Saxton says it's just tricks. Also on board is Saxon's rival, Dr. Wells, who is also quite curious as to what's in the box. They load everything up and set off across the Trans-Siberian Express back to Europe. But Wells is dying to know what Saxton brought on board, so he bribes the baggage man to take a peek and let him know. Once everyone finds their compartments, the monster comes to life and makes his escape. Pretty smart for a wild animal to be able to pick a lock like that. The baggage man sees all this happen, and then he looks into the beast's eyes, which is enough to kill you. They all meet back in the cargo room and are surprised to see that the man is missing. He's nowhere to be found, and at this point, there are more questions than answers, and it all seems to stem from Saxton's crate. So the inspector forces him to open it and show them all what's in there. But he refuses and throws the keys out the window, forcing them to use an axe to open it up. And inside they find the baggage man. So you're telling me that Bigfoot managed to escape, kill the guy, then put him back in there and seal it all up?
Yes, I am. It's alive. It must be.
Now a monster's loose on the train. Should be pretty easy to find, but nope, he's nowhere. In the meantime, they decide to try to find out exactly what killed the poor guy. Dr. Wells and his assistant, Miss Jones, do an autopsy and discover that his brain is completely smooth. All of his memories, his knowledge, everything has been removed. So that's how the creature attacks. With one look, it will absorb your brain and melt your eyeballs. But the creature has one more trick under its sleeve. When it's fatally wounded, it can transfer its consciousness to another living being. Here the inspector shoots it, but looks into the monster's eye. When he wakes up, the transformation process has started. Meanwhile, they do another autopsy, this time on Bigfoot itself. They examine the tissue in his eye, and to get that sample, they poke it with a syringe, which really bothers me. I mean, I know it's a fake eye, but still it gives me the heebie-jeebies. Anyway, when they look under a microscope, they can actually see the creature's memories. They say it doesn't store them in the brain like we do, but in the eye itself. At first, we see the inspector shooting it, and then dinosaurs, and even the Earth itself. The only way it could have seen the planet is if it came here from outer space. So our main villain is an alien.
Something I want to show you.
Pajardov takes a look, and he thinks that this is the devil's eye, and he steals it.
Pajardov!
Back in the cargo area, Prajardov witnesses more murders and gives in to temptation, offering himself as a servant to the alien. But he blows him off, saying there's nothing in his head of any use. What an insult! The man's not even smart enough to kill. The passengers are starting to get antsy, and no one can be sure as to who the alien is hiding in. So they perform a test to see if they can tell. They look into everyone's eyes, but nothing. Everyone is normal, including the inspector. Not really sure what else to do, they decide to at least send a message to a train station that there's been murders on the train and they might need some help. But they're 40 minutes away, and a lot can happen in 40 minutes. It seems like the alien wants to get off Earth and go back home, so he goes around absorbing all the intelligent people on board. First, it's this guy who has knowledge of rockets and possible space travel. Then it's this guy who's made a fortune in the steel business, but he won't tell anyone the secret to making it. That's okay. A quick brain absorption should do the trick. I mean, all this alien wants to do is go home. He's no different than E.T. If he would have just waited 60 years, we would have had the technology to get him to the moon. Instead, you gotta go around killing everyone, absorbing their brain, and trying to do it all yourself. Typical alien, never asking for a human's help. Well, they finally make it to the station, and the military board the train, led by Captain Kazan, played by Telly Savalas, who's another pretty big actor for this movie, but I'll always remember him as the dad in the Twilight Zone episode, Living Doll.
Hello?
My name is Talkie Tina, and I'm going to kill you.
He thinks that the murders happened on board the train were from rebels. It's not until the lights go out and he sees the inspector's eyes light up red does he know something else is going on here. So that's why the inspector passed the eye test earlier. They had to do it in the dark. Kazan shoots the inspector as he runs away, and now the alien has no choice but to take over Prajardov's body and starts going on a killing spree. All the passengers retreat to the last car, and the alien stares down the soldiers, killing them all. Saxton confronts the creature, and it tries to convince him of how important a find like this would be for the scientific community. And, well, it would be. If that alien would just cooperate, it could tell them how to end disease, pain, and hunger. But Saxton can see through his lies, so the alien is forced to use its final trick, reanimating the dead. All the people it killed come back to life and start attacking. Saxton fights his way through them and eventually makes it back to the final car, where Dr. Wells is waiting for him. They work on separating the car from the rest of the train, while the government, not hearing back from Kazan, messages the next train station to divert the train and kill everyone on board. The train changes lanes and the creature is unable to stop as it goes flying over the edge of a cliff. And the last car gets unhooked and stops just in time. For classification's sake, I'm not too sure Horror Express is a Bigfoot movie. Oh, there's a Bigfoot in it alright, there's no doubt about that. Even Saxton confirms it.
Part ape, part man.
But it's really just an alien movie with a Bigfoot in it. And does that plot sound familiar? An alien creature that can transfer its consciousness? It's kind of the whole idea behind The Thing from Another World. Well, yeah, Horror Express and The Thing were both based off the same short story, Who Goes There? I might get in trouble for saying this, and it's only my opinion, but I actually prefer Horror Express over John Carpenter's The Thing. Yeah, really. For a movie that takes place almost exclusively on a train, they kept it pretty fresh and interesting. All the rooms look different, and the creature effects are pretty good. Nowadays, the eyes would have been CGI, but being limited to practical effects actually makes it more terrifying. I mean, just look at this shot of the creature controlling the train. That's some spooky stuff. Bigfoot looks good too. You can tell they didn't just glue some hair on some poor guy's arm. Of course, Lee and Cushing do a great job as always, and you would never know the pain Cushing was going through at the time. But other actors play their parts well too. Telly Savalas is great and kinda scary if I'm being honest. I also like Miss Jones, Dr. Wells' assistant. She's got a real dry sense of humor and breaks up some of the serious moments. There are some things that don't make sense, like if all your memories are stored like pictures on your eyes, then how would you even see through them? But who am I to judge something from another world? To them, they probably think that we're weird for having memories in our brains. I liked Horror Express, and if you like movies starring Cushing and Lee, I think you'll like it too. I give it 3 smooth brains out of 4.
Miss Jones, I shall need your assistance.
Yes, well, at your age, I'm not surprised.
With an autopsy.
Oh, well, that's different.